is Eyewitness News Daybreak in high definition.
Well, good morning and welcome to Eyewitness News Daybreak here on this Friday. I'm Jake Boswell.
And I'm Amy Mangold. And today for Alexandra Johnson, thank you for joining us on this Friday, January 25th.
So, Amy, how are you feeling this morning? We're super excited. Ron and I are super excited to have you here with us.
I'm excited to be here, too. I'm feeling pretty good. I've got my coffee IV going.
Yeah.
And got a little bit of sleep last night.
I was going to say, we've already talked about how it's really hard because you work the evening shift usually to be here with us in the morning.
Yeah.
The hard part's going to bed. Waking up's hard enough, but the hardest part's going to bed.
True. It's going to bed and staying asleep. You know, you take a little nap and then you wake up and you think, oh my gosh, I'm not going to go back to sleep tonight. But actually, I did get a little bit of sleep. And getting out in this frigid cold this morning really woke me up.
That's what I was going to say, exactly.
I'm telling you, that will wake you up as soon as you hit the door outside, yeah.
I think it's going to wake everybody up at home, too. So just be aware of that. Super cold this morning, really how it's been here at the end of the week. Let's talk about some news. A lot happening on this Friday to catch you up on. Breaking news overnight first. Here in Evansville, police in the middle of a homicide investigation.
This all began around midnight on Frizzy Avenue. Joe Bird is live at the scene this morning to bring us the very latest. Joe, what can you tell us?
Well, good morning, Jake and Amy. The call came in, as you said, just after midnight early this morning here at the 2300 block of Frizzy Avenue. Trying to give you an idea of where it is on Frizzy. It actually intersects with Bakey Road. Also, we have Covert or Pollock rather, and Riverside Drive in the area. Now, here's what's going on behind me this morning. Nothing really active except there is still one EPD officer here at this time. But after midnight, officers arrived on the scene here of Frizzy in the 2300 block and found a victim dead in a car from an apparent gunshot wound, and then moments later officers tried to pull over a vehicle just blocks away on Delhaven, and that driver sped off. But then a short time later, officers say that the driver stopped long enough to let a passenger out of the car. The chase then resumed and ended on Interstate 64 at the Tennyson exit when police say the suspect's vehicle ran out of gas. Now, at last check, the suspect was still being questioned, and right now police are not saying whether the chase is connected to the shooting investigation. Now, we are in contact this morning with the Evansville Police Department, and we'll bring you the latest information as it becomes available here on air and online. But again, right now, a homicide investigation is underway at the 2300 block here of Frizzy in Evansville. So as more information becomes available from Evansville Police, we'll pass it along to you. Back to you this morning, Jake and Amy.
All right, thanks a lot, Joe. And more breaking news this morning. Just moments ago, the FBI announced long-term associate of President Trump, Roger Stone, has been arrested. The arrest, according to the FBI, is directly related to the ongoing probe by Special Counsel Robert Mueller. Now, we're learning Stone was arrested in Florida early this morning after being indicted on several counts, including obstruction of justice, making false statements, and witness tampering. Stone is just the latest figure from the Trump circle to face charges in the Mueller investigation. We'll bring you more on this developing story throughout the morning. And Good Morning America will have the very latest coming up at 7 right after daybreak.
ABC News just now reporting that Stone is expected to be in court later today on this Friday. A judge has ruled that the guilty verdict will stand in the murder case of Clint Loreline. Now, in August of last year, Loreline was found guilty in a trial of shooting and killing his wife, Sherry, and stabbing his two adult twin daughters, Cynthia and Nicole. That attack happened on January of 2017 in the family's Darmstadt home. The twins were able to survive. Loreline was scheduled to be sentenced last October, but that's when lawyers asked for a mistrial due to allegations of juror misconduct. We don't know what misconduct was alleged, and prosecutor Nick Herman tells us that information is sealed, so it's not something that's public record. After reviewing the new info, Judge Robert Pigman did dismiss the motion for mistrial.
Obviously, the victims and the family of the victims are looking for closure in this case and wanting to get this over, and this motion delayed that. So we're glad to get this behind us and get moving toward a sentencing date.
Cool. Well, Loreline is going to be sentenced in a couple weeks, February 13th.
An update now on a story we brought you Thursday. The man police say shot at a car with children inside is now in custody. EPD says on Wednesday, officers were called to the intersection of Kurth and Virginia for a man firing at a car. 2 adults were inside, along with 2 children under the age of 5. Now, no one was hurt. The EPD Viper unit and U.S. Marshals tracked down the suspect, 27-year-old Devayante Emery, and arrested him Thursday. He was wanted on 4 counts of criminal recklessness with a deadly weapon and 1 count of possession by a firearm of a firearm by a felon. EPD says a woman was also arrested for assisting a criminal and obstruction of justice. Her name has not been released.
A number of Indiana districts are now delaying the start of classes on this Friday. It's due to these bitter cold temperatures we're seeing. Now, most of them are in the northern part of the viewing area, north of 64. That information is crawling at the bottom of your screen, so you've probably seen some of it this morning. You can also find it on our website, tristatehomepage.com. Now, in Kentucky, Dawson Springs Independent Schools has decided to keep students and teachers home today for a second day in a row, and it's not due to the weather, it's due to illness instead. A number of students were out yesterday, so officials made that call to keep the doors closed, and today, hopefully, things will get better starting fresh on Monday. We hope everybody down in Hopkins County starts to feel a little better. McLean County schools closed last week for the same reason. And these bitter cold temperatures, the question is, how long are they going to stick around? Maybe just for the weekend, maybe not. But Amy, I know Ron has been predicting this whole week. We're going to be in the negatives for wind chills for like the next 7 days, it seems.
Say it ain't so, Ron. Say it ain't so. Please.
All right, let me say it's not so, Amy and Jake. We are going to see below zero wind chills today in spots. We already have seen that. And also midweek next week. We are going to warm up a little bit, though, over the weekend. I'm not expecting below zero wind chills over the weekend. So at least we've got that going for us. So we got a little warm patch in between bitter cold shots of Arctic air. As we look out right now at our Deaconess camera there, that's our MCF construction camera just inside Warwick County, looking at I-69 and Highway 66. The traffic's starting to pick up as we roll into rush hour on this 25th morning of January. Right now it's 11 degrees in Princeton, 11 in Lagodi, 12 in Jasper. Now we don't have a big wind out there, but we've got enough of a wind that some places are below zero. In fact, Carmi, 12 degrees right now, but a wind chill of 2 below. Right now the wind chill in both Princeton and Jasper is right at zero. 15 degrees right now in Owensboro. The feels like temperature, though, is pretty close to zero. 9 degrees colder than what we had yesterday at this time as we had that shot of Arctic air move in. Live first warning Doppler, at least we don't have anything falling. I do expect to see a little bit of snow later on tonight and early tomorrow morning. It's not going to amount to a whole lot. High today with plenty of sunshine in the mid-20s.
Well, and as always, we're keeping an eye on your roads in the morning. We're getting a little break from the winter precipitation, and NDOT crews are taking advantage to make repairs to the roads. Snow and ice lead to those big bumps in the road called potholes. And with the snow and ice gone for now, crews will be patching those craters. NDOT is asking you to report potholes to be repaired by calling 1-855-NDOT-4U. And a road closure to tell you about for drivers in Davis County. The Kentucky Transportation Cabinet is reporting Kentucky 54 is closed between Wood Trace and Ed Foster Road due to water over the road. Now, this is a 2-mile stretch that is closed off, so if you come across this area and there is water over the road, you're asked to detour and do not drive through a flooded area. Stay safe out there, Tri-State, and that's the dashboard report.
Well, coming up next here, Ron's back in with our weekend forecast. He talked a little bit about the chilly temperatures. He's going to let us know if we're going to see any warm coming up in the next 7 days or so after
Let's
our break.
hope there is, yeah. The time is now 6:08. We'll see you.
From Eyewitness News, this is Daybreak Extra.
Hey, good morning and welcome to Eyewitness News Daybreak Extra. We have a guest with us here this morning.
Yes,
Amy Mangold.
I'm actually treated as a guest rather than
As
one
far
of the
as
you're a
Yes,
coworker,
I'm part of
you
the
have been
family.
for a while. Yeah.
I am part of the family,
Yeah.
but I'm glad to be treated as a guest.
Absolutely.
Glad to be with you guys this morning.
Yeah, we'll have you inside our home. This
Yes.
is we've decorated the place for you.
Yeah, like the new couch. Yeah, it looks great.
Well, we did clean up the place. I was using a mop and or at least a broom and a dustpan
This is
earlier,
what
so.
happens whenever you leave the decoration to 2 men. This is what it looks like.
But it looks pretty good.
But how are you feeling? So Amy's letting Alexandra sleep in a little late today, and she's helping us out here in the morning.
Yes, it's
been here for
National
hours now.
Opposite Day, and you guys are working opposite shifts.
We are
Celebrating.
Yes, we are. And we're also celebrating Fun at Work Day.
Well,
Loving to
but
be
wait a
with
minute,
you
it's opposite
guys.
day, so we can't celebrate Fun at Work
Well,
Day.
that's no fun.
But that's opposite day, right?
The problem is you're dressed for Fun at Work Day, Ron. So what are you going to do? You're not going to do
Love the
nothing.
tie.
I get to speak to some students in Jasper. I'm heading up there later today. I wanted to wear kind of a fun outfit.
Cool.
Well, you
Yeah,
look
some kind of
bright on this bright day.
Well,
I love
thank
it.
you, Amy. Yeah, it is. Plenty of sunshine. Speaking of bright, wait till you talk to Charlie here in the morning.
All right, that sounds good. We want some brightness
There
today.
you
Well,
go.
on today's show, we are continuing to follow an overnight homicide investigation in Evansville. Joe Bird will have a live report.
Yeah, he's been tracking that story for a couple hours now.
Also ahead, a son is reunited with his mother thanks to a DNA test. Check that out.
Love to see stories like that on Friday. And our garden guy, Charlie Stocker, is here to say good morning on this frigid Friday because it is extremely cold outside. Charlie may have some advice from how to keep your plants, although if it's this cold, your plants might just kind of, they're going to stay for the whole year because they're going to be frozen in place.
That's all right, but I've got bulbs that Charlie gave you, my tulip bulbs, that are doing okay in this kind of weather. Doesn't matter. They'll be popping up in a few months. I'll be ready for that.
Yeah, Charlie's here in a couple minutes. Amy has our news headlines right now.
All right, thanks, guys. Well, breaking news overnight, Evansville police in the middle of a homicide investigation. Now, this all began around midnight on Frizzy Avenue. Joe Bird has been live at the scene all morning, and he's there to bring us the very latest. Joe, what can you tell us that has been developing?
Well, right now, Amy, detectives are on the scene here at the intersection of Bakey and Frizzy. Go ahead and show you what's going on right now. We have several off in the background doing some bending down at times, digging through the dirt, it appears to be as well. Most likely looking for some shell casings this morning, checking things out now that the daylight is back up. You can see the caution tape is out in this area as well, just actively investigating the scene as to what could be going on, when it happened, and why it happened. Of course, lots of questions still at this time. Now, the call that came out this morning here for the 2300 block of Frizzy Avenue right after midnight, and when officers arrived, they found a victim dead in a car from an apparent gunshot wound, and moments later, then officers tried to pull over a vehicle just a couple blocks away on Delhaven, but that driver sped off, and then a short time later, this driver stopped long enough to let a passenger out of the car. Then the chase resumed and ended on Interstate 64 right at the Tennyson exit. And police say when that happened, that happened because the suspect's vehicle ran out of gas. Now, at last check, the suspect was still being questioned. However, I have just spoken with Sergeant Jason Cullum from the Evansville Police Department. Simone Steen has been booked in the Vanderbilt County Jail at 7:13 this morning. Sergeant Cullum says he can confirm that Simone Steen was the one involved in that high-speed police chase this morning. The website is listing Simone as not having any bond at this time, but Sergeant Cullum says he still cannot confirm there's any connection with that high-speed chase with the homicide investigation here on Frizzy Avenue. So as more details become available from Sergeant Cullum, EPD, and investigators, we'll be sure to pass it along. Amy, back to you this morning.
All right, thank you, Joe. Well, a judge rules the guilty verdict will stand in the murder case of Clint Loerlein. In August of last year, Loerlein was found guilty of shooting and killing his wife, Sherry, and stabbing his adult twin daughters, Cynthia and Nicole. Now, the attack happened in January of 2017 at the family's Darmstadt home. The twins were able to survive the attack. Loerlein was scheduled to be sentenced last October, but lawyers asked for a mistrial due to allegations of juror misconduct. Now, we don't know what misconduct was alleged, and prosecutor Nick Herman tells us that that information is sealed. After reviewing the new information, Judge Robert Pigman dismissed that motion.
Obviously, the victims and the family of the victims are looking for closure in this case and wanting to get this over, and this motion delayed that. So we're glad to get this behind us and get moving toward a sentencing date.
And will be sentenced February 13th. An update now on a story we brought you Thursday. The man police say shot at a car with children inside is now in custody. EPD says on Wednesday, officers were called to the intersection of Kurth and Virginia for a man firing at a car. 2 adults were inside, along with 2 children under the age of 5, but no one was hurt. Now, the EPD Viper unit and U.S. Marshals tracked down the suspect, 27-year-old Devayante Emery, and arrested him Thursday. He was wanted on 4 counts of criminal recklessness with a deadly weapon and 1 count of possession of a firearm by a felon. EPD says a woman was arrested also for assisting a criminal and obstruction of justice. Her name has not been released. The FBI has arrested Roger Stone, Donald Trump's longtime associate. Now, this is exclusive CNN video of law enforcement raiding Roger Stone's house just after 6 a.m. in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. A grand jury has indicted Stone on 7 counts of obstruction, false statements, and witness tampering. The charges were brought by special counsel Robert Mueller. He alleges that Stone sought stolen emails from WikiLeaks that could damage Trump's opponents at the direction of a, quote, senior Trump campaign official. Stone is scheduled to make an appearance in court later on this morning.
Against this president.
Well, it's an emotional reunion, 47 years in the making. John Dabkovich was there when a man came face to face with his birth mother.
Okay, thank you. Ready?
Even though he's had a lifetime to get ready,
I'm extremely nervous.
it doesn't seem like enough. Christian Guerrero lives in Maryland now, but he's from Austin. You see, he was born at the old Brackenridge Hospital on June 1st, 1972. It's also the last day he saw his mom.
I've been looking for really hard since Christmas of last year.
A DNA test as a Christmas gift, a Facebook group for people like Christian, and a genealogist named Lois, all coming together to find a mom who, at 14 years old, gave up Christian for adoption.
There's a connection, a bond with your mother that's, I can't really explain it, but I've never had it. And once I found her, I saw her picture, and I knew it was her. And, you know, I just, that hole that I had has started to fill up. And I can't wait to meet her. Here we go.
Good luck.
It's funny how, after a lifetime of waiting, 5 minutes can seem like an eternity. They've talked on the phone before, but there's no phone that can do this.
Hi, son. Oh, my God. It's so good to see you finally. The last time I saw him was when I held him in my arms as a baby, and I was just a young 14-year-old teenager, and it was very difficult to let him go.
For me, it's filled a hole that I've had in my heart for a long time. And I'm whole again.
It's okay. You're here now. We're together now.
Now they have 5 days together to catch up on a lifetime of stories and the rest of their lives to make new ones.
What a great opportunity he had. Well, the weekend arrives a little early this week, and that's because today is National Fun at Work Day. To celebrate, you can plan a party, schedule some activities, or hey, bring in some goodies to share. Or you could decorate the office or ditch the dress code. I don't know if you should do that. Or maybe dress up and hire a caterer or a DJ. Wow, we need to hire a DJ, guys. Yes. NationalToday.com says it loves National Fun at Work Day because it promotes office positivity, of course. It can help coworkers bond and supports the work hard and play hard motto. Love that motto.
What's awesome, too, is this video we're showing for Have Fun at Work Day. A lot of it included food.
Ooh,
so
I'm about to say, I just settle
That's
for
a
free
clue.
food. I don't need to have to change my dress code or anything like that.
Yeah, we want
Some
to have
grub
more.
would be nice.
what could you do to your dress code to make it more fun?
T-shirt and
Hat?
Well, although day like today, I'm not wearing a T-shirt. You know that.
You should wear a hat today because it's so cold outside.
Well, if I was going outside, which I'm not.
We are not sending you outside today, right?
I've got a fireplace out there, so maybe I'd be okay. I'm just worried about the camera person who's out there.
Oh, yes.
I don't want them
Sure,
freezing.
right.
Worried about others.
I'm not worried about
Right.
myself.
Yeah, we
you know
believe
that.
that. No.
Hey, coming up after the break, Garden Guy Charlie Stocker, he's here taking your calls for when it does warm up enough to go outside. He's getting from your lawn and garden questions after the break.